to prove it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to NFL Elite Banter. I did skip the intro. Freight Train is MIA at the moment, so trying to find him is a little difficult. But it's been a crazy second, third round so far. Well, actually, we're still in the second. But Philadelphia, Cooper DeJean, 2 back-to-back corners. And real fast, I just want to invite my guest to the show over here. Come here, my love.
No, Freight.
All right, so apparently my wife refuses to be on the show, which is fine. Oh, never mind. Apparently there is no caressing of women parts. So my wife will not be making an appearance on the show this evening because of the fact of belly button type, never mind. Anyway, so let me hear you guys in the comments real quick. What are your thoughts on what the second and third round have been? Babe, can you do me a favor and grab me a beer, please? Thank you. I love you. My fiance is the greatest of all time. They're out back. So let's see here. So we got episode 17 of the Banter. Reaction to day one. Well, day one was a wild misfire. I was wrong about a ton of shit. Right now, Dallas is on the clock. Doesn't really matter. I mean, can we be honest? Dallas has 0 chance of a Super Bowl anytime soon. And for those of you who are going to react and comment on my personal page's podcast, do me a favor. Please, in Facebook or YouTube, search NFL Elite Banter. Join the page, follow the page, and comment there. Otherwise, if you comment on my personal Facebook, it does not tell me you're doing so. So I'm trying to do the show alone tonight. I would love for one of you to want to come on. If you have any interest at all, comment your email. I will shoot you a link. I want everybody's opinion. This show's about you guys. It's about having fun. Even if you don't think you're smart, who cares? Shoot me your email address. I will shoot you a link. Come on the show. Give me your feedback. Give me your thoughts. But Dallas is looking right now. Now, granted, they're showing a graphic. They lost Tyler Baez. They lost Tony Pollard. They lost a ton of receivers, tossed a ton of defense with Kyle Van Der Esch. That team is reeling in Dallas right now. And we actually have a visitor to the show, the first guy to show up. Thank you, because my co-host is unreliable, a.k.a. love you, Freight Train. Kenny Meyer, who is famous for the world-famous halftime show for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Meyer, how's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good, Rich. Sorry I'm not on my computer. I had a birthday party tonight. I'm down here at the Polish Falcons in Limber, but you offered for me to jump on, and sorry, I'm back in the office at the Polish Falcons, and I just wanted to jump on and just talk with you just a little bit about our Steelers' last draft pick.
Sure. What are your thoughts on that last one?
Well, I really do like that pick. Coming up into there, everybody was going crazy on cornerbacks in the second round. And I'm looking going, okay, here goes wide receiver, defensive tackle. And then JPJ went at center to the Raiders. And I was a little bit worried. And I'm like, come on. But then I thought, IKIT, I trust. In Con, I trust, like I said last night. And we waited, and we got one of the top 3 centers. We solidified our offensive line. I wouldn't have been mad if we would have got the wide receiver from Michigan. I don't think we're going to trade up. We have 2 thirds, and maybe we do a little bit. We use one of them to jump up a few spots, because we still need wide receiver help. We still need defensive back help. I think all the big defensive backs are gone, so no need to overreach on there. Wide receiver, it's deep. We still have McCaffrey from Rice. We have Jerry Rice's son.
Mr. Brendan, out of USC.
Yeah,
yep.
So I think we're good. I love our draft so far. We didn't overreach. We didn't do anything like that.
So you know what's crazy is, I will say, so I was late. I didn't watch a lot of the second round. So I found out about Cooper DeJean in Philadelphia about maybe 20 minutes ago. And I had a business function I had to be a part of. Philadelphia going 2 corners in a row blew my mind. First of all, the last corner we took in the early rounds was Lito Shepherd in 2002. We're talking 22 years ago. Philadelphia went that route. So we take last night Quinyon Mitchell-Toledo, which I told you on the Steelers podcast might happen, and then we follow that up with second round Cooper DeJean out of Iowa, which is absolutely insane. So I saw that you guys picked up, Zach Frazier, which we talked about last night. We did have him in the top 4. So I had a feeling you guys are pretty happy with that. So overall, where would you grade your draft at right now? Are we talking an A, a B, a C? Where are you grading the Pittsburgh Steelers draft right now?
I would have to go, and it's weird because we basically took 2 non-sexy picks. We didn't take anybody. We didn't take star wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, or anything. But for what we needed offensive line and we needed center, which I graded them for our first 2 needs. And we got an offensive lineman that I believe could have, some people had him ranked in the top 10, but everybody went quarterback crazy. We got him, and we got one of the top 3 centers. I wish people would stop calling here. I apologize for that.
That's okay. That's okay.
I would give him an A-. I mean, we got everything that we wanted. It's tough to give him an A+. I don't want to sound like a Steelers homer. I will say an A-, and that's still above and beyond great. Now, with you guys, I just want to comment. Whenever I saw that you guys drafted Cooper DeJean, which he was projected in the first round, you're getting him
top
basically.
15.
Yeah, you're getting him for you in the second round, so cheaper rookie contract, which it's awesome. And when you guys drafted him, I looked at my one friend and said, "You realize how dangerous they were? They now have a defensive backfield for maybe the next 10 years, barring injuries and stuff." It's almost like the old school. I don't know how old you are, but the old school Cleveland Browns when they had Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield. And you guys are set. If I thought you were dangerous last year, look out coming into this year.
You know what really bothered me though, and I get Pittsburgh had some offensive line needs. I told you this last night on Bubba's Steelers Dynasty show with the Steelers Realm. I always give the full name to give a little bit of a shout out. But I said this last night. I fully understand needing offensive line help. But I saw a comment tonight from a couple buddies of mine who are listen, as you've come to realize, I'm very close with Bubba, very close with Shane, me and Freight Chain, JT, TA, all them guys. I have grown accustomed to having to support the Steelers because all of my buddies are Steelers fans. It is what it is. Have to support them. My concern is, and I saw a comment tonight that I really enjoyed, which was, you're going to give these guys all the protection in the world with nobody to throw to. That's my concern. And I told you this last night. I really thought that wide receiver should have been maybe not the first projection. So first of all, just for the record, Fuenada was a top 15 pick, top 12 pick.
Yeah.
I would not have agreed with an offensive tackle outside of that, but for the fact that you got a top 10 guy, number 20, can't argue that.
Right.
Phenomenal pick. Loved that pick. Thought Pittsburgh played that very well. You took the best available, which is very rare. A lot of these teams try to reach. Very well done. However, I feel like at this point, a tackle first round, a center second round, and again, let's say these guys are top of the line. Let's say these guys end up being top 10 per position. The problem is you have a quarterback battle in Pittsburgh. If Wilson plays or Fields plays or whatever you want to play that role as, who the hell are you supposed to throw the ball to? Pickens is good. Pickens is a really good receiver. And Freiermuth could be better than what he's used as. And Darnell Washington from Georgia last year could also be better as well. But at some point, you have to give a quarterback battle some steam. You have to give them somebody. Where does Pittsburgh take a wide receiver here? Do you guys go third round, fourth round? I mean, at what point do we realize, holy crap, we need more at this position? Where do you think Pittsburgh goes here?
I think third round, we have 2 picks. We definitely go wide receiver. This is one of the deepest wide receiver drafts that I personally have ever seen. Like I said, we still have that McCaffrey kid out there, Jerry Rice's son. I know that wide receiver, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, was just picked out of University of Texas. I couldn't believe he was still there.
Donnie Mitchell.
Yeah.
That's actually who Freight Train wanted in the first round at number 20. He Freight Train, my co-host, usually who, hey, by the way, where you at, buddy? Anyway, the Donnie Mitchell is who he wanted at number 20. And what's funny is he went to the Colts at number 20 in the second round, so number 52 overall. What blows my mind, and I agree. I mean, the draft is very deep at wide receiver, probably the deepest at wide receiver it ever will be. It still concerns me, though, that if you guys did a true number 2, which is what I believe. Listen, you guys picked up Kes Watkins. I'm an Eagles fan. Guess what Kes Watkins was? He was
right.
Julio Jones got more important snaps than Kes did. That tells you something. Calvin Ridley III for you guys was Kes for us. Every year you keep telling yourself, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. They're finally going to turn the curve. They're finally going to step up. And the reality is Calvin Austin shows no signs of being a true 3. Kes shows no signs of being a true 3. Van Jefferson was a 4 with the Rams. My concern is, how long do you wait for a guy who has to be your 2? You need a 2, not a 3, not a 4, not a 5. You need a guy who really steps in, who complements Pickens well, and gives this quarterback battle a fair assessment. And right now, you can't blame the quarterback for failing because who do they throw the ball to?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's funny, before I jumped on your podcast, I was texting with one of my buddies out actually in Indiana, PA. And I said, do we trade up in the third and get a wide receiver? Like maybe a bigger name one? Because, okay, we have George Pickens. And this is what I don't want to happen next year. We have, let's say, basically 4 wide receivers that are number 3 and number 4s. And you throw them all in the mix, there's still as many as you want. You could have 20 wide receivers that are 3 and 4s. They're not going to pick up the slack and be a true number 2, because I hate to say it. I mean, I love Pickens. He's going to obviously be our number 1 this year. But let's say we don't get a solid number 2. And let's say we're going to get we're going to get 1 or 2 wide receivers in the draft. So let's say Van Jefferson is our starting number 2. Austin 3 and Kes is 4, or one of the guys we draft is 4 or 5, whatever it is. And there's not a true number 2 that's a threat downfield or whatnot. And Pickens starts to get double teamed. And then Pickens starts to only have 2 catches for 27 yards in a game. And it takes him 4 games to get a touchdown. And that's nothing against his talent. It's against the coverage that they put on him because they don't respect any of the other wide receivers. Then I think we have a whole nother Antonio Brown situation on our hands, that he doesn't have somebody else to take the pressure off of him. And then it blows up. And then in a year or 2, we're trading George Pickens and we're starting all over in the wide receiver room. So I completely agree with your thought process. We need a solid number 2. I mean, even some people, they were saying Tyler Boyd. And I know we talked before. I feel he's a solid number 3. Cortland Sutton. Yeah, we trade for him. I could maybe give him a 2.5 at most, but he's still a 3 to me. I'll give him a 2.5 at most.
But the problem is, and here's what I looked at from the wide receiver class. So I agree. I think Boyd is tempting. I think I see why people love him. So let me point out 2 trades, and you can give me some feedback when I'm done. Number 1, Boyd's not the guy. Number 2, Higgins is not the guy. Here's the reality. Boyd's a 3.5 in my mind. Higgins is a 2.5. I actually fully agree with that assessment. And I feel like the reason why they looked so good in Cincinnati was the pressure that Jamar Chase applies on the defense allows you to get open way more often. And you can argue it. You can say whatever you want about how good T. Higgins is and Boyd, whatever. Boyd never excelled in Cincinnati, by the way. But moving on from that even, and we can talk about what Pittsburgh has now, which is right now, as far as your depth chart is concerned, number 1 is George Pickens, obviously. Number 2 is going to probably be, maybe based off of experience, maybe Calvin Austin III because he's been there longer. Who knows? Van Jefferson maybe at 3 or 4. Kes Watkins plays the opposite role. But you're giving a quarterback battle no heat. I mean, there's no heat.
You're right.
And my problem is I have Pittsburgh in the bottom 4 as far as depth chart at wide receiver goes. And by no, first of all, I have your top 5 at running back. I have you somewhere around 10 at quarterback. I think there's a lot of talent there. Defensively, I still hold you guys because Pittsburgh's always been known as a defensive team. I have you guys in the top 12 or so at defense. My concern is how can you ask Fields or Wilson to prove themselves to be your future next 2-3 year guy if you don't give them a chance? And my problem is and I get where you guys are coming from. Like offensive tackle is obviously important. You got to block the blind side. You got to block the rushing side on the right. But at some point, you have to say, hey, protection is important. But we're protecting you long enough to get the ball out. But where does the ball go? That is my question. And you're watching these top caliber receivers fall off little by little. I mean, Donnie Mitchell is gone. Worthy's gone. McConkey's gone. Like all these guys are starting to fall off the board. How long do you wait before you finally say, hey, you know what? This is the guy we need it too. I like Brendan Rice, and not for name, homage, or any of that, but I like him as a talented player. But how long do you wait, and where do you think Pittsburgh's going to slide to?
And see, it's a double-edged sword. So let's say
it always is. It always is.
Oh yeah, let's say in the first round we take a wide receiver. In the second round, we take an offensive tackle, and people are going, oh, well, you got your wide, or let's say we take 2 wide receivers in our first 2 picks. Then everybody's like, oh, well, it's nice you have somebody for the quarterbacks to throw to, but they're going to be running for their life because they don't have offensive line help. You get offensive line help. And I mean, you're going, well, who are they going to throw to? And I think the problem with the Steelers, I mean, we've had some phenomenal wide receivers within the last 20 years. But the thing with the Steelers is
Martavius Bryant, once upon a time, Smith-Schuster. You go back before that, and you're talking about Santonio Holmes. You're talking about the original OG guys. I fully agree.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time. Yeah, and the thing is, like we can draft linebackers for the most part, and we can definitely draft wide receivers. And I mean, we've definitely drafted a lot late that have blossomed into great wide receivers. But I still think there's sometimes, and you hit on a great point, that what we do is we draft guys and we have guys, and we expect them to all overperform. And go, well, Calvin Austin III is going to develop into a solid 2 this year. Van Jefferson is going to take a step up and develop this year. And you can't continuously do that.
At some point, the project is over. You accept them for what they are or you move on, right? So when you sign a guy like Van Jefferson, that tells me that you're accepting the fact he's a depth piece. When you sign a Kez Watkins, you're accepting the fact he's a depth piece. When you have so the thing is, Kez is fast as hell. I'm sure you've seen that already on tape.
Yeah.
As an Eagles fan, from the time he got drafted here 5 years ago to the time of now, that's why I said it's so funny to see him go to Pittsburgh, because I've been a part of Bubba's podcast with the Steelers dynasty. I've also done podcasts with the Steelers run with JT and them guys. And it's funny because the way you guys talk about Calvin Austin III is the same way Philadelphia has talked to Kez Watkins, which is he's super fast. If you can get him open, he might be a huge asset. But Calvin Austin and Kez have done the same thing. Nothing. They've done nothing. I mean, there's nothing there. And that's why I look at this draft as, and I agree with you, by the way, this is a draft where wide receiver is so deep. You have to make a play. And again, I can't argue pick number 1. I can't argue that. I fully agree. You took a top 12 player at number 20. It's very rare you get that lucky. However, your second round pick being a center, I get it. They were probably concerned that the center market was starting to dwindle a little bit. I mean, obviously some guys have been grabbed. JPJ went to the Raiders. You had a guy grab last night from Duke. I forget the hell his name was top of my head for some reason. Barton went last night. But at some point, you got to say, if we're going to have a quarterback battle, there has to be a fair shot here. I mean, Fields got robbed. If for whatever reason Pittsburgh doesn't work out, he got robbed. he deserved to have a true offensive team, which he would have had in Chicago, which we agreed to last night.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. Yeah.
Chicago should have never got rid of him. I mean, having Keenan Allen, you could have traded back with the number 1 pick. You could have grabbed the Dunze either way. And who knows how much draft capital you get for the first pick of the draft.
Imagine if they kept Fields, they traded down to like number 4 or 5 because they weren't going for a quarterback, got extra picks and got extra offensive or even defensive weapons on that team. And you have an experienced Justin Fields with all those weapons. That's a team that I would have loved to see play.
So I'm not a big Fields fan, and I'm always very straightforward on that. Neither is Freight Train. But what I will say is you had a guy who won games for you that he shouldn't have won. I mean, Chicago was very, very bad 2 years ago. And Justin Fields was finding a way to win 3, 4, 5 games a year that, truthfully, they probably shouldn't have won. And it blows my mind that, and we talked, and you said the same thing last night that I was so happy to hear you say, because I've been preaching the same thing on this show for the last 6 weeks, which is, had you kept Fields, you would have had so much control over this draft. The Bears had the draft by the ball, so to speak.
Yeah.
Where the 9 pick could have got moved. The 1 pick could have got moved. You could have played both picks and moved. Whatever you wanted to do. You had the full ability to do whatever you wanted. And the reality is Chicago lost most of their games last year based on defense.
Yeah.
And you chose to go fully offensive in the draft. It blows my mind at some of these teams. And I'm watching the Bills draft right now, and I'm like, even these guys, they lost their entire defense, and they're drafting a bunch of random crap. Like, what is going on? Like Atlanta, they were ranked 32nd last year in pass rush. Did you know that?
The Bills?
No, the Falcons.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't hear that. I didn't know that. And it's funny. I haven't seen any of the last 7, 8 picks because I came back, so I'd be able to hear you here.
Yeah. So the Falcons were ranked 32nd last year in pass rush. 32nd. That's dead last. They took a quarterback in the first round with Jared Verse, Dallas Turner, Miles Murphy, Byron, whoever you wanted in defense. Why would you take a quarterback at number 8? You could have traded down. You could have added some more draft picks. I mean, what was your thought on Atlanta? So I know you're a big Steelers guy, but what was your thought on Michael Penix at 8? I mean, were you shocked? Did you have a different idea in mind for Atlanta? Where were you at?
I was shocked. I sat there and I went, do they know something we don't know? I mean, you know how teams fall in love with a certain guy? I mean, Penix wasn't even picked to, for some people, even be drafted in the first round. Maybe at best, late first, early to mid-second. And they picked him. And did you see any of those memes going around today that it said it looked like the coach was talking with, I think their owner is Arthur Blank, and they're like him trying to say, please don't fire me. I hope I didn't screw up. And, the thing is with Penix, it's nothing against him. I watched him being interviewed today, and they're like, all right, Michael, what did you think? And he's a class act. He's like, I know what it is and stuff, but regardless of that, I just want to say he's a class act. Now, if you're Kirk Cousins, you don't discuss that with him at all. You just dropped $180 million on a guy for 4 years.
He's pissed.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're already drafting for the future, and that's the thing, if they wouldn't have had Kirk Cousins, let's say they brought in somebody that was just an average quarterback,
or Mitch Trubisky, somebody like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Okay, then you draft for the future. You let him sit. You let him learn for a little bit. When you made that free agency pickup for Kirk Cousins, you want to win now. You are looking to win now. People are picking you to make noise in the AFC South. So, and then you do that when you have all these weapons, all these people, everything around you, and that's what you do. I'm glad that I wish I would have been a fly on the wall after the cameras went off on that. I mean, that was just absolutely ridiculous on what they picked. And it's nothing against Michael Penix. Congratulations to him. That was awesome. But I mean, what are you thinking? Do you remember one of my favorite lines of all time was, I can't remember who the Jets drafted. And this is about 15, 20 years ago. And Mel Kiper Jr. came on after they made their pick, and he said, I wonder if the Jets actually have any idea what the draft is about. And in my one fantasy football league draft, we always use that every year with the one group of people. They always draft someone, and we'll all in unison go, we wonder if the Euler family has any idea what the draft is about. So that was my feelings on that. I'm gonna get going here. In a few minutes, I just want to say goodbye. And you know what? It's been so awesome being on here with you. My first time on here. If it wasn't for BADD Bad Bubba Brewer, I wouldn't have met you, and you wouldn't have invited me on here. It's an honor, and I'll jump on anytime you want. Steelers in the third. I definitely think we need to go wide receiver, defensive back. But I definitely think, and I wouldn't even be mad if we went wide receiver, wide receiver, inside linebacker.
My only concern about Pittsburgh right now is what I'm watching right now. For example, the Detroit Lions just took Ennis Rackstraw Jr. out of Missouri. Now, I'm not saying he's great. I'm just making the point of that's another DB. That's another DB. We've seen maybe 7 or 8, maybe 9 DBs in this round so far.
Yeah.
And then the rest have been wide receivers. It's all been wide receivers, DBs, a couple linebackers, and even a running back in there, which is awesome. Love seeing running backs get drafted early. I really do think that running backs get undervalued because it's so easy to rotate them in and out, whatever. But what really is starting to worry me a little bit is they better pull the plug soon, man. They have to call it in like, hey, let's make a trade. Let's do something. We need somebody.
Yeah.
But to get back to what you were saying, and before you get out of here, which, by the way, I appreciate you for coming on. It's always nice to have you on. You have a very, very complex knowledge of football, which is always nice to hear. A lot of these Steelers fans are like Steelers only.
Thank you. You do too, brother.
But for the Falcons, and let me ask you this before you go. Right before you go, I'm going to defend them for 10 seconds and let me know if I'm delusional here.
Okay, no problem.
The only reason why I understand part of this, okay, even like 5%. We saw last year when Aaron Rodgers went down after 34 seconds. Zach Wilson with a playoff caliber offense shit the bed. Let's just be honest. That's what it was. Call what you want. He shit the bed. Kirk Cousins went down early last year. Minnesota shit the bed. It was bad. I mean, it was really bad on both of those franchises. So it goes to show you what the value of the starting quarterback is. How much of this do you think, in my opinion, I think it's huge. How much do you think it is? Kirk Cousins has had a torn ACL, a messed up shoulder, a messed up elbow. How much do you think this is Atlanta saying, you know what, we realize what happens when you lose a starter? We want to have a high caliber player behind our starter to ensure that we win at least 7, 8, 9 games, because otherwise, if we don't draft Penix, our next quarterback's Taylor Heineke. So do you think that it's an insurance policy in my mind?
To be honest with you, I don't, because it's one of those things that it's so weird. You can't draft in fear of injuries. And I mean, that's just my thought process. I mean, if they thought with the torn ACL, shoulder, and everything with Kirk Cousins, they wouldn't have given him $180 million. They would have let him go, save that, signed other positions, and drafted Michael Penix to come in if they were that high on him, and came in. Now, I don't want my team to ever lose. I mean, and I'm not going to get into the discussion of the Steelers because that's a whole nother can of worms for me with Steelers haven't had a losing record. Yeah, bullshit. We're the Steelers. We should do better.
Real fast, the San Francisco 49ers just traded their pick at number 63 to Kansas City. Kansas City's trading them.
Oh.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
But no, it's okay. But it's one of those things of, let's say you have Kirk Cousins and you signed him and he's your quarterback for the next 4 years, and they just pick up somebody in like the 6th round and Kirk Cousins goes down. Well, you know what? You got other positions that you drafted. You'll suck this year, barring like a Brock Purdy situation. And then next year, you're drafted in the top 5, top 7, and you can get your quarterback next year, and you got your position players this year. So I can't say I'm right, and I can't say I'm wrong, but I honestly don't think they drafted as an insurance policy. I think they draft or in fear of injury. I think they really like the kid, and which I find funny. He never actually met them. He said he just met them at Pro Day, but they had a good meeting. I think they drafted him for the future, and I think they just overreached. I just still don't understand the pick, but good luck to Michael Penix, and I don't think they drafted in fear of injury.
So is this Kenny Pickett PTSD?
Oh my God, I will have that for years. I don't wish bad upon anyone.
This would be a bigger reach than Pickett. This is number 8 overall, so this is by far a bigger reach than Kenny Pickett, right?
Yes.
I mean, because Kenny Pickett was a second rounder, you guys grabbed in the 20s. This is a guy who was projected second round, taking number 8. Number 8. Hey,
Yeah.
Bubba Brewer, good to see you, brother. Hey, I'll tell you what, Bubba, let me shoot you a link real fast, pal. I love me some BA double D as Kenny would call it.
Yes.
Love me some Bubba Brewer. Either way, I know you want to get off of here, and I appreciate you popping on. By the way, Kenny, I know you had a lot of things going on, so thank you for popping on the show.
My pleasure. It's an honor and privilege to be on here for the first time.
Hey, you're welcome back as many times as you want. What's nice about you is you have a lot of knowledge overall. Which is sweet because a lot of these guys today with a lot of these fans, Bubba's doing his own show. Oh, so sorry, Bubba.
Oh yeah, that they have the blinders on and they're Steelers only. Oh my God, they're Steelers homers. So I get it.
You know what though? It's nice. I get it. I get the favoritism. I mean, I love the Eagles. Obviously, I'm a diehard fan. I refuse to do an Eagles only show. I can't do one. I tried. I find myself nauseous because the homerism is just too strong for me. I can't do it. Because again, naturally you want to be objective, but when you're an Eagles fan, it's very hard to be fair. It's very, very hard to say, you know what, I'm going to judge the birds equally. You can't. You just can't help it. As a Steelers fan, no matter how mad you get, you can't help but to give the Steelers a little bit more credit than you would anybody else.
You look through it with rose-colored glasses. That I always say. It's like when Justin Fields came on and joined the Steelers. I was like, well, maybe he just needs refreshed, and he has a better coaching staff. Maybe he just had a bad coaching staff in Chicago. But up until the time that he got traded to Pittsburgh, I'm like, they ruined him. He's a bust. Everything. So
we're welcoming on the two-timer, the cheating man, the Damian Priest of NFL football.
I'm doing my show and
he's
I'm
going live twice at once. It's Bubba Brewer. Bubba, what the hell is going on?
Well, you know what I'm doing? Me and Shane are on. We're on the experience right now. I got you on my phone, and I'm doing 2 things at once. So everybody, if you want to jump off of my show, please go to the NFL Elite. Those guys are talking football, where me and Shane are just talking. We're just talking, shooting the shit until Steelers draft. So,
hey, I don't even know what's going on of who to follow and what podcast I need to be on. But anyway,
it's crazy. I was doing podcasts. I was doing stuff till 4:30 this morning. I jumped on Steeler Nation Australia.
I saw it, Mark. Yeah,
and I didn't get any. I haven't got any sleep.
Oh my God!
It sounds like Kenny's trying to get out of here. Kenny, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. And if it wasn't for,
I'm gonna roll out.
Hey, Bubba, I actually got to get going. I'm at the bar and need a drink. Bubba, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have known Rich. Rich, thank you. And I'll be on all your podcasts again. Love you, brother.
I can't do 2 things at once. It's like taking a dump and pissing at the same time. I can't do it.
I'm going to grab Shane and steal him from my show.
I just wanted to come on and try it.
It's all good, man. Have a good one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this show has been wild so far. It has been an absolute praise show. My co-host, Mr. Freight Train, might get fired tonight. Let's see. Maybe you guys can join me in messaging Freight Train and letting him know he's fired from the podcasting world. So the draft has been wild, obviously. Picks have been all over. The Eagles took a corner in the first, took a corner in the second. For these Pittsburgh guys who I know a lot of you guys tune in, took a tackle last night, a center tonight. By all means, feel free to shoot me an email. My email here is rlutz226@gmail.com. That is my personal email. If you shoot me an email, I will be more than happy to shoot you a link. Come on, have fun. Who cares? I mean, there is no judgment. If you have 1% knowledge or 1,000% knowledge, love to have you come on the show, talk about football, enjoy yourself. I have never gone live solo for longer than a few minutes. So this is very, very interesting. Let me see here. I got people asking me for links, and it's chaos. It's absolute chaos. I got people messaging me left and right. So Anyway, in the comment section on the main page, please go to NFL Elite Banner on Facebook. Otherwise, I cannot see your comments. But yes, I am looking to have people come on here tonight. I am loving this. This has actually been a lot of fun for me so far. I had some fun off the radar, by the way. My night was very, very long for professional reasons. Let's see. MMKDN 7 MQAR. Okay, let's see. Hop on. All right. So anyway, sorry about that. I was trying to send some links out here. But yes, if you are interested in coming live for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, I don't care. Feel free to shoot me an email or chat here in the NFL Elite Banner page and let me know. So far, the draft has been pretty off the wall tonight. Tonight has been very unexpected. Adonai Mitchell did not go until way later to the Colts. Freight Train had them going to Pittsburgh at number 20, which obviously was not true. The Niners are on the clock right now. Let us see who the Niners take here at number 64. Oh, wait, I'm behind. Never mind. Wow. Okay. Ronaldo Green, corner out of Florida State. So it goes to show you this round has been heavily favored towards the secondary. So last night we thought a lot of secondary players were going to the second half of the first round. Instead, apparently the second round's where it's at. Cooper DeJean goes to Philadelphia. Kool-Aid McKinstry left. Bernardo Green left. It has been an absolute wild second round. Let's call Freight Train real fast. Let's see where Freight Train's at. So what we're going to do here for the first time ever on NFL Elite Banner, we are going to make a live call. That's what we're going to do here. So ready? Let's call Freight Train. Let's see what his excuse is. So, and by the way, if you guys want to join the show, if you want to come on live, comment in the chat section. Want to come on? See what happens. Let's see. Where's Freight Train? I'm not getting any audio from my phones. This is interesting. Yeah. Call failed. Okay, let's see. So anyway, guys, so the show's crazy. Let us know what is going on with you guys. I was not planning the show to be as late as it was. Freight Train had a baseball thing going with his kids. I had a business meeting myself. Always trying to better myself, obviously. So let me see where Freight Train is. Leaves me hanging with no Wi-Fi, apparently. All right. Let's see what the next pick of the NFL draft is. Bum. All right. Well, the Jets are on the clock. The pick is in. Let's see where the Jets go here. I think the Jets are a team favorite for the AFC Championship game. You might not agree with me, but I promise you it is going to be very, very interesting. So I'm sending this link out to a few people. I have some people asking me to come on the show, so I want to make sure that everybody has a chance. Okay. QAR. Well, this Jets pick is taking a half an hour, apparently, so we are going to see what is going on here. Freight Train is still not showing up, guys. I have no idea where Freight went. Freight promised me he'd be here by the third round, which is pretty true, actually. It's 9:30, so we'll see where he is. But I will be trying to figure out what I want to do here. I mean, going live solo is by far the hardest thing to do in podcasting, for the record. So let us call Freight Train here. Let's see what he goes. I'm going to show you my point. Freight Train is very hard to contact, very hard to get a hold of, and very, very hard to get the show up on time. So let's see where he's at. $20. No answer. Call has been forwarded to voicemail. There you go. I had a very good feeling that Freight Train was not going to show up. So we'll see about that later. Maybe he'll get fired. Maybe he'll come back next week. We'll see what happens. This has been the most disorganized this show has been so far in, I think, 17 weeks. Let me do this real fast, guys. I am human. I have nobody to cover the show for me, so it's kind of hard to do this solo. So what I'm going to do real fast, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Give me 30 seconds. I'm going to put a timer on myself here. I'm going to run a 30-second countdown. I will be right back. I promise you this will be more about the draft. I will be way more focused. It's just very, very hard to have nobody to go off of. So give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm going to use the bathroom here quickly. I will see you in just about half a minute. Okay. I did not make it fully in time. Thought I would. It is very hard to go to the bathroom in 30 seconds for the record. So let's see. So Malachi Corley, wide receiver, Weston, Kentucky, going over here to the New York Jets. So wide receiver was obviously a prominent point they were trying to make. They obviously have a lot of talent in that offense, very, very young. But another receiver for the Jets. I love that move. I mean, last night I said Brock Bowers was not the way to go. I know Freight Train liked Bowers for the Jets. An offensive lineman for the future, because obviously Tyron Smith does not have a lot of time left. But Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky, don't know a lot about him. I mean, obviously WKU is a very small school, but Aaron Rodgers makes studs out of nobodies, man. So very, very interesting pick. So the next pick here in the draft will be Arizona at number 66. We are now nearly done. I think, the second round here. So let me see. Actually, we're in the third round, I believe, actually, right? Yeah, we're in the third round now. Crap. So let us see. The Arizona Cardinals, the team that was 4-13 last season. Will they win more than 4? Kyler Murray's not it, guys. I'm just telling you right now. The spoiler alert is in. The Arizona Cardinals are not going to win 10 games anytime soon. Let us see where Jonathan Gannon, the former defensive coordinator for the Eagles, goes with the Arizona Cardinals at 66. Again, if you want to come on the show, feel free to shoot me a chat. I am more than happy to have anybody come on, talk your team, a different team, talk some trash, whatever it may be. Freight Train, you're in trouble, buddy. Oh, no, not him. Who is this guy? Second overall pick in 2001, a.k.a. Bust. Oh, I love that pick. I love that pick. First of all, guys, I know running backs are not big names anymore in the draft. Trey Benson, Florida State, huge running back. He's small, very agile, very quick. 6 foot, 216. I love this kid, man. Before he got hurt, Trey Benson with Jordan Travis with the Florida State offense was a top team. I mean, without Jordan Travis getting hurt, this is a top 4 team in college football. They would have been playing for a college football playoff. Obviously, Travis gets hurt. They got robbed. This kid, Trey Benson, is super quick. He can grab the ball out of the backfield as far as a receiver. Huge runner. Absolutely phenomenal pick. Again, it's the second round, guys. We're third round now. We're in the third round. So it's 32 picks in the first round. 64 is the last pick in the second. We are now 2 picks into the third. Arizona makes a huge move. No running backs in Arizona. I love this pick. I think Trey Benson is a great pick here. Second or third running back taken now. Now Washington comes up to play. They had two second round picks. Benson out of Kansas State took a tackle. Oh man, it's crazy. What a wild draft this has been. So Washington's ready. Whatever it is, they're ready to go. So they picked up Tyler Biadasz, Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, Marcus Mariota. They made a ton of acquisitions in Washington. However, nothing good enough to win football games. Let us see what they do here in the third round. Finished last twice in a row. Back-to-back seasons where Washington Commanders finished last. Let us see where Washington takes this pick. Again, guys, feel free to shoot me a chat here in the NFL Elite Banner Show page. I'll be happy to bring you guys on. Going solo is not easy. So for the record, if I'm boring or if I'm over the top, be very, very well aware this is very, very hard. Let us see with the number 67 pick in the NFL draft. Here we go. The Washington Commanders select Brandon Coleman, TCU. Okay, so a guard. We have another offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman. We've seen a ton of O-line here, but Brandon Coleman, TCU, third round, 68th pick. Big guy. I mean, as you see here on the graphic, if you're watching the show, 6'4", 313, very agile. I love TCU. I was a big LT fan back in the 90s, early 2000s. Brandon Coleman is a big body guy who is going to be very versatile and really spread that offense out. So we'll see how Eckler can do behind that. But I'm not sold. Washington doesn't sell me. I mean, it's still dead last in the NFC East. Let's be honest, guys. There's very little chance they improve too much. Maybe the Giants fall below them. Yeah, I don't know. Highlight tape on him is not impressive. Still some pressure coming off of over the gap seam. But so they're taking Jaden Daniels, Jazon Newton, Mike Sainristil, Ben Sinnott, and Brandon Coleman. Not bad, but could be a lot better. Thank you, Justin. It is a lot harder, like I said, than you think it is to be live solo. I was expecting Freight Train to be here. I had, obviously Kenny came on. Thank you. Bubba, Shane, all them guys. Nobody showed up for me tonight. So out of all the podcasts I'm attached to, I am the only one going solo right now. So I'll tell you what, I thought about turning the live off and just have the rest of the night to myself. But I'm going to stick around. Why not? Who cares? You don't like it? Tune out. All 9 of you watching the show from the main page, love you. Thank you. Thank you for the love reactions, the thumbs up reactions. I promise you this is much harder than you think it is. Going live by yourself is just kind of a little awkward. There's nobody to feed off of. But the Patriots pick is in at number 68. Now, obviously, they've taken a few different needs. The Patriots are still going to be pretty bad. I mean, obviously, took Drake May, number 1. They have some other guys they brought in later on. Let's see what they got here. Solo Dolo. Well, I mean, Dean, you're more than welcome to come on, buddy. I'm just saying. I am more than happy to shoot a link to the comment section. I'll tell you what, tonight will be the one night where I am fully open to bringing everybody on. Even Mom can come on. Kelly O'Donnell Kleinsmith, by the way, for the record, is Mama Smoke, as people like to call her. It's all good. It's a bonus night anyway. Just have fun with it. I can't say much. I can't see the draft. Well, YouTube TV is pretty expensive, so I don't blame you, Ma. I feel you on that, darling. But yeah, I mean, by all means, this draft has been pretty incredible. I've enjoyed it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I mean, there's been a lot of weird picks, like Michael Penix Jr. going number 8. We had some weird guys going the end of the first round to like Denver and things like that. But not Denver. I'm sorry. I have no idea what his name was. I completely forget. The guy was completely relevant. If Mom comes on, I'm on. Mom, I'll bet you about $125. I'll go $200 around it up. Mom is not coming on the podcast tonight. I mean, my mom is in the comment section all the time. much thank you to my mother for being as supportive as she has been in the last 30 years of my life. But my mom is not coming on an NFL podcast. There's no way in hell. Let's see what else comments we have here. We have a bunch of people chiming in. I'd come on, but I can't see the draft. I guess $170 a month is definitely a little steep. Mom, no problem. I feel you. I would love to turn off NFL. I'll turn off YouTube TV tomorrow if I could, but I just unfortunately I'll lose all my TV shows. Let us see here. Looking for some rumors. If I go silent again, usually there's supposed to be somebody here where if I go silent, somebody picks up slack. It's just not going that route. I'm going to keep calling Freight Train for the record. So if any of you guys hear some ringing, just know that he's fired tomorrow. So out of this draft so far, so people have been asking me in my messenger recently. So before I lose all of you guys from boredom, the number one question I've been asked here recently is, out of all the draft picks, what has surprised you the most? Obviously, Michael Penix, number 8, has been pretty surprising. I think picking up Pearsall last night, the receiver out of Florida, I thought he was going to be a third-round pick. He went first round. That blew my mind last night as well. It's been a weird draft. I mean, by no means this has been easy. Had to run into the bedroom and had no balls. Your mom. Mom's drunk, okay? Chances are mom's drinking Jack Daniels and having a good old time over there, having her own. She called her a draft party, but reality is she has that party 7 days a week, June through June. So, love you, Mom. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. But let us see here. So the Patriots pick us in. We're waiting for this bad boy here. I'm not going all night for the record. I'm probably going to cut out early since, again, this kind of sucks because of the fact that I don't want to bore you guys. It's about having a good time. So let us see about this 30. Dude, these intros are crazy. Mom is home in bed. So, no, yeah, mom's old. My mom is 50 years old. She's not super old, but she's old enough. So the Steelers are doing another one of these sappy intros. I really wish they would stop doing this. Every pick in the second round or the third round does not have to be 20 minutes long. We get it. You guys have people that love people that have deficiencies and autism. And I support recognizing all those things, but like the draft is long. We did 4 hours and 3 minutes last night live because of all these cut intros. Come on, guys. We want the pick. We want the pick. I mean, come on. 20 minutes for one third-round choice should not be that long. Come on. Well, guys, I think what I'm going to do here is, at this point, I don't have a lot of content except for waiting for these picks, and these picks are taking super, super long to go in. I am probably going to shut the live down. Being a solo, we're 53 minutes in. We have very little content because these picks are taking 25 minutes. I mean, once upon a time, picks were like every 3 minutes. Caden Wallace is coming out of New England here at number 68. He's a defensive tackle out of Penn State. Who cares? Nobody gives a shit. I'll tell you what. I'm going to break all my own rules. Fuck New England. I try to keep this a PG show. We try to keep this non-rated R, but fuck New England. Who cares? But anyway, so we're taking defensive tackle, offensive tackle, Caden Wallace, 6'4", 314. Nobody cares. I mean, New England's not going to win more than 3-4 games next year, regardless of who they take. Drake May is going to be garbage. He will collapse. Shit happens. But I'm going to head off on the live here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to bore you guys. I don't want to bore myself. It is very hard to go live by yourself. So rather than waste time, I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Even tonight, there's been about 11 of you consistently since the very opening of the show. And I had nothing because, unfortunately, being alone is not ideal in the podcast world. So thank you guys. Feel free to search NFL Elite Banter on YouTube or Facebook or even Twitter. Love to follow it. The more you guys give us, the more we give back. So with that being said, without further ado, thank you guys. We love you, and we will see you very, very soon. And we'll see you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care.